Hi there, welcome to my channel and welcome to part 3 of Takeover Tuesday. When we left off last time, Madeleine was just having a chat with Nyon here. They seem to be becoming quite good friends at the moment, or he's pretty much her only friend her own age, because the only other people that we've had around have been young adults. He's come around dazed. I noticed that a lot, that when Sims randomly turn up at your door that they're either angry or they're dazed. It's quite strange. I think they're all just away drinking nectar before they come to the house. So in this episode I am going to get Madeleine up to an A grade and I'm going to do a little bit of work to the house and then hopefully build and move to the next house along. For the next house along, because these two plots at the top of Newcrest here are both the 20 by 15 lots and similar position, I'm going to more or less build the same house just in a different colour, and I will decorate it to be a little bit nicer. As the idea is obviously that as she goes along each house gets a little bit nicer and is a little bit of a higher standard. I did already put the best shower in this house, which I probably shouldn't have, but I'm going to leave that there. And I put the best bed in, which I'm going to take out. I'm going to take the Blarfy and the big bed and I'm going to put that into Madeleine's household inventory. And I will replace the bed with the one that I was going to put in, which was I think the Eco Living one with the 555 rating on it. And I'm going to keep Blarfy with me because Madeleine has now formed a friendship with him, and if you move to another house and get a new Blarfy, the friendship resets back to 0, so I'll just keep carrying him with me from house to house as I go because he is her friend and he's going to be her support system when she's having a hard time with things. And every time Nyon comes over he does this, he goes to jog, and if you look at the little sort of green plus signs over his head there, he's doing that thing that you can do with teenagers where they can jog for emotional control, or, you know, when they've got a negative moodlet going on, they can go for a jog to try and clear their head, which is it's strange. I've not really noticed teenagers doing that randomly until recently, so I don't know if that's something that's been updated in one of the patches or if it's just that I've not been paying attention and then it's maybe always been a thing that's happened. So Madeleine's a bit stressed out because she's had an acne outbreak. Another thing that I've noticed, or a problem that I seem to have always had since putting, I think, parenthood that the acne came with rather than growing together. The problem I've always had if I play with a sim from the child life stage upwards, when they grow from a teen to a young adult, the acne just remains on their face and there's nothing I can do about it. So I've found that the only way to combat it is to be on top of it and just the minute they say they're getting embarrassed that they're having an outbreak as a teenager, to just immediately use the facial cleanser and conceal acne. And I almost have to do it daily when they're teenagers, because if I don't, they end up with quite severe acne all over their faces. And like I say, it follows them into adulthood, and I might jump into one of my other files and see if I can get some pictures of some of the Sims that I've got there to show you what I mean, because I even have some Sims that are elders and they have so much acne on their face. It's ridiculous, like almost their entire face. It's like they've had an outbreak of the measles. It's really extreme. And like I say, once they've moved from teen to young adult, there doesn't seem to be anything you can do about it. I haven't even been able to fix it in CAS. It's possibly one of those things, people who have MC Command Center could maybe fix it, but obviously I'm playing on console, so I don't have that option. So while Madeleine's at school, I'm going to pop into build and buy mode and just make a couple of little changes to the house. One of the things that isn't on the house that I usually put on all my houses is the sprinkler system, just because it, especially if you're playing a game where you're not really wanting to take the chance of your sim dying, it just makes it a lot easier, because when there is a fire in the house, the sprinkler will kick in. In a few playthroughs I've had, that has been life-saving for me, having the sprinkler system. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put a burglar alarm in because we've had the update with the burglars now as well since I first built this house. And I'm going to put the thermostat in as well because we're starting to move through spring towards summer. When it gets into summer, it's going to be too hot. I don't want any deaths from heat exhaustion or cold exhaustion, so I'll just put that in there. It does increase your bills when you use the thermostat, but the AI on The Sims is surprisingly silly. They will wear clothes that will cause them to be too hot or too cold. Usually the biggest issue I have is pyjamas. If they wear their pyjamas when the weather's hot, they're too hot, and if they wear it when it's cold, they're too cold. So I don't know what use their pyjamas actually are, but yeah, that seems to be where they fall apart the worst. So just to prevent that from happening, I'm going to put the thermostat in there. and it's Monday in game. That's me getting bills delivered. So I am hoping that this will be the last time I pay bills in this house, and I'm also hoping that within this week I can get Madeleine up to an A. I don't think I'll get far enough that she'll be able to leave school at the end of this week. I sometimes find if they don't get the A grade till near the end of the week, you sometimes have to wait till it's usually like a day after before it triggers the event. I found that quite strange because sometimes I think the official description is that you have to be doing well with the A grade, as in you have to be on an excellent performance and have an A grade to be able to leave early. But I've had some Sims, the second they've gone from a B grade to an A grade in high school, I've had the phone call. Like that day they come home, I get the notification that they've gone to an A grade, their performance is average, and immediately I get the phone call saying, do they want to graduate early? I'll see what happens towards the end of this week, but I will be pushing to get her to an A grade as best as I can this week. And I do find this funny, the neighbourhood action plans. Madeleine is the only person living in Newcrest, the entirety of Newcrest, so I don't know where all these other votes are coming from, and there's quite a lot of them as well, there's 7 on some of them. So I'm stuck with juiced community. There's no adverse effects for not doing anything in the juiced community, so I don't have a lot of influence points at this stage, because some of them have already got 7. I can't pick a new one and be able to vote more because I've only got 6 votes. So I'm just going to pick one that's already there. I'll probably pick the Rock Your Body because I can just get Madeleine to jog a few times or something and that'll give me some influence points. Ideally I would have liked like the green gardening one in there. There's one other one that I do quite like. Can't remember what it is, but there's another one that I think it's the Foodies Unite is quite a good one if you're cooking your own meals anyway, but that one does unfortunately mean that when other Sims come to your house, they make a white cake every single time they come, which can be annoying if a Sim comes just when you're about to go to work or something, and you've let them in the house and you come home and there's just 7 steel bowls with batter in them sitting all over your house because they start making the cake and then just leave it there to just rot. So actually saying that now, I maybe won't vote for Foodies Unite if that one comes up later on. So Madeleine's embarrassed, but I'm still just going to have her work on her school project straight away tonight on Monday. If I try and get that completed, she's got a much better chance of her grade going up this week. In fact, it probably should, especially if I get it completed today, ideally. Unfortunately, there's no one around. I maybe should have called over some adults to give her a hand, but she's doing okay just now, so I'll leave her on her own doing it and see how she gets on. One of the useful things about the school projects is it does let your Sims build some skills, like there, Madeleine's building handiness skill, and they get like rocket science skill for some of them and logic skill for other ones, so it can be a handy way just to build other little skills as they grow up as well. And if you have other Sims in your household of teen or older, you can get them to lend a hand, and it's a good way for them to build skills too. I wish there was a progress bar on the projects when they're working away on them so you could see, but you can't really tell how far on they are. Or I can't in my game anyway. I don't know if it's different on PC, but certainly usually the little circle in the bottom corner with the box there's a green line goes round it as you're completing it. Anyway, that's her done it on Monday night. Her needs are all quite low for everything now, but she got it completed, so bonus, that should hopefully help with her grade for the rest of the week. I'm just going to have her bond with Blarfy for a little bit just to cheer her up and then get her some food and get her to bed, and hopefully we'll start to see some improvement in her grades this week. Okay, it's the morning and I noticed that quite a few of these plants are ready to evolve. I think when I move I'll probably uproot and take these plants with me. I could start again planting new plants, but obviously once they evolve, what you harvest from them is worth more and you get more harvestables off of them. So I will probably take them with me when I move to the next house just to keep my source of income up. And it's been raining a lot lately in the game, so I haven't had the chance to water any of the plants. And the first stage of Madeleine's aspiration is to water or weed plants 10 times. And I haven't had them long enough that they've had weeds. And because of the rain, I haven't had the chance to water anything. And I think as well, it's a bit like in Animal Crossing, that when they're at a low level of gardening skill, and they water the plants, they water them one at a time. So if you've got 10 plants, you can water the whole row, and that's 10 out of 10. But once their skill's higher, they water like 3 or 4 at a time. So if you've got 10 plants, it only counts as like maybe 3. So it takes longer to get to that 10. So unfortunately, because her skill's going up, when she does get a chance to water the plants, it will take longer to reach that part of the aspiration. But she is at a high enough gardening skill now that she can fertilise the plants, so I'm having her do that as well so that they can evolve a bit quicker again, and that'll help with her income as well. So Madeleine is just home, and that's Nyan has followed her home. It's still saying that her grades are merely satisfactory, so that means she's still a B grade, so I have to try a little bit harder to get her up to an A grade. Madeleine's fun was low, so I asked her to watch a movie with Nyan, and they're kind of almost merging into each other and just not doing anything. I don't know if that's better or worse than when your Sims randomly just merge into each other and it's one Sim's body and another Sim's face and one of their hairstyles and someone else's shoes. I find that happens a lot when you go to the Stargazer Lounge in San Myshuno. When you first load in, it shows as if your Sims just stepped out of the elevator, and they stand the Sims in a grid of, I think it's 3x3, and there's always more than 9 Sims standing there, and they're all like merged into each other and on top of each other. And I see Nyan is dazed again, which is just very strange. I sent Madeleine to the toilet and she chose to go back to speaking to Blarfy instead of going to speak to Nyan. So, sorry Nyan, I think she prefers Blarfy. I've noticed that Madeleine's research and debate skill is close to level 3, so I'm going to have her spend the rest of this evening getting that up to level 3. I think that's the first trigger that the skill causes her to complete homework faster, and that'll hopefully make a difference to the high school homework. I've never actually noticed if it does or not, but I'll see if it does make a difference this time. I made a mistake there because she's actually just reached level 2, so she's going to have to do quite a bit more debate to reach level 3. I'll have her keep practicing that this week anyway, because I certainly want her to be at least level 3 before she leaves school and goes to university. And since Diego's here though, I'll get him to help her with her homework, because that definitely does get the homework done faster. See Diego talking about money there. I don't know, I guess it came with life and death. That weird prompt that you get, or that weird conversation that appears in the top right of the screen rather. It's not something I ever ask my Sims to do, but when they're having a conversation with someone, it'll just randomly pop up. Oh, Madeleine spoke to Diego and he's doing quite well financially, or he doesn't have a lot of money right now. Why are our Sims going around asking other Sims about their money? I mean, sometimes they've literally just met someone, and Madeleine's a teen, and I don't really think that teenagers, when they first meet an adult, are saying to them, oh, have you got a lot of money? It's just a weird thing that's been brought in, and I'm sure I've only noticed it since Life or Death, so I don't know if it's something to do with the fact that there's now a will system in place, if it's to help you identify rich Sims that you might want to befriend and get added to their will and then kill them off. I don't know. It's just a strange one. And that's some of Madeleine's other plants, the birds of paradise, the more recent ones that she planted, ready to evolve now. So I'll get those evolved as well before she harvests them in the morning. That'll give us a bit of extra income. Madeleine just got done vacuuming the house, so she's now got a focused moodlet. So since she's got just about an hour before she starts school, I'm going to get her to do some more debate, because I believe that the focused mood helps with the debate skill. See in a second. Yeah, that looks like that's given her a bit of a boost to help with that. I'm just going to keep chipping away at that this week and trying to get that skill up as high as I can. It's Nyan asking to come over as well. They seem to have become quite good friends. I've not really put a lot of effort into building their friendship. It seems to have just happened quite naturally, which is good. It's good for Madeleine to have a friend. Okay, and you can see there Madeleine is now a B student. It's Wednesday, so 2 more days of school. I think I can probably get her to an A. I think I probably can, because she was skirting around being close to being a B student for a while. She's done her project this week already, so I think if she just does her homework and does her extra credit, I could probably get her up to an A. And I see that Nyan is dazed again. It's just constantly dazed. And they just became good friends. He's got the trait Chased by Death. Okay, I don't actually know much about the townies in the new pack, actually, so that was, I don't know what he's saying to her there, that you got the little emo kid appeared in his speech bubble. I don't know what that means. He's having a little breakdown, but his emotional control is going up, so I don't know. It's probably because he's drunk, because he's come across here dazed, so Madeleine's just enjoying the music there and not really caring. I thought Nyan had gone. He went to do that jog for emotional control thing, so I sent Madeleine out to get some of the local harvestables, but he's come back and he's doing my dishes, so I can't complain. And again, I'm just having Madeleine work on that research and debate skill. I'll just have her do that until it's time for her to go to bed. I really want to get that to level 3 this week if I can. And now while Madeleine's at school, I'm going to make just those couple of changes in her house, because she has enough money that I feel like I could copy this house across and we could move, and I could even make a couple of improvements. So that's what it looks like at the moment, and I'm just going to pop in and make some changes. And with those changes made, I'm just picking up the plants out of the garden now, putting them into the inventory so that I can take them with me when I move to the next house along. And I've ended with the property value at about 19,000, but because the land has value of 1,500, to actually purchase this property it will still be more than 20,000 simoleons, so it's a little bit more expensive than just a regular starter lot would be, or a lot that you could buy with your starter funds. And I'm just going to save it to the gallery so that I can copy it across to the next lot, and I'll just show you what it looks like saved in the gallery. There it is. I'll keep those lot traits on just now, the good soil, penny pixies, the sunny aspect. Once we get to the point that Madeleine's having a family, I'll probably put things on like good schools and on child's play or something, which makes children learn skills faster. It's a handy one to have when you've got toddlers as well. So that first lot was Comfy Cubby, and I'm now just going to go across to the next lot next to it, which is Oak Alcove. Same size and same value of lot, and I'm going to paste in from my gallery that lot again and then just redesign it. I'll do a different colour on the outside and it'll end up looking a little bit fancier on the inside by the time we're finished with it. So while I was in decorating the new house, I noticed a mistake on the old original house, that I hadn't coloured in the foundation on the back porch there on the original house. So I'm just going to pop back in and do that before I move. And Madeleine's just standing in the middle of the room because I took out the bed. I didn't realise she was asleep when I went in to make the changes to the house. And I've just put in a new bed, so she's just randomly standing there in the middle of the night. I'm just quickly going to make these changes and then I will move her into the new house. I'll maybe let her sleep tonight and do it in the morning, but I am going to move her. I decided since Madeleine was awake I would have her do one last sweep of the neighbourhood just to collect the collectibles so I could sell them for a bit of extra cash. And as I'm selling them, she's just sat down in the middle of nowhere and started doing her homework. So I'll let her finish that, I'll let her have some sleep, and then if I've got time in the morning before she has to go to school, I'll move her. If not, when she gets home from school, I'll move her to the new house. And I literally just got Madeleine home and into bed and I'm being robbed. But, oh, it is actually by Robin Banks this time. It's the first time I've actually seen the Robin Banks. And that's not good because Madeleine won't be strong enough to fight Robin off, so I'm just going to call the police. I really hope that I don't lose any of my property right now because I need the money to be able to move to the next house. And I realised I actually had forgotten that I'd installed a burglar alarm, so that's good. That's paying off. And who's the policeman there? He looks familiar. It's Knox Greenberg. That doesn't really seem appropriate to Knox's character, that he would be a police officer. Something about that seems a bit off. Madeleine's just going to listen to the music and watch the fight, even though she's really tired and now she's making herself food, even though she's beyond exhausted and it is 3 o'clock in the morning and she's got school. Oh my, okay. Okay, let's get her to bed. That was more excitement than we needed. Not sure exactly what they do now because I've not called the police on a burglar yet. And oh, just like that, just letting her go. That's a job well done, caught red-handed. You're vigilant and safe. Oh, okay. Okay, nothing really exciting happens basically. And after all of that excess and all of that excitement, Madeleine slept in. and she literally woke up and just went straight to school, so I will have to wait for her to come home before I can move her to her new house. And there's Nyon asking to come over again to visit. He can come over all he wants, but we'll be moving house. And that's Diego come over to visit as well. And he's wasting his time too, because I am literally about to get Madeleine to move. I am not waiting any longer. I did eventually leave the decoration of this house fairly basic, which was the plan, just to get it basically decorated to look like a starter home, if you like, one that needed a bit more work done to it. And the next one that I'm going to will start out looking like this one does on the inside, and then we'll develop it further and decorate it a bit nicer. When I decorate, I'm not a big Sims builder. A lot of people build for aesthetics. I build for gameplay, so a lot of the choices I make tend to be based on comfort. I'll try and pick things that obviously look nice and complement each other, but the comfort factor and what they can contribute to helping the Sim with their needs is more important to me. So I will be doing that as best as I can without building anything that looks too ugly. And here we go, from the lilac house into the yellow house. The next house I build, it's a bigger lot, the next two lots in this neighbourhood, so I will go for a different style of house, and I will show what that will look like when it comes time to building those. And here we are, just one house further along, and as you can see, the inside looks exactly the same. At the moment, Madeleine's got a few thousand in funds, not really a lot to do a huge amount to the interior of this house, but I will work on that, we'll chip away on that over the next couple of weeks. Given the way her performance at school is going, I'm hoping that she's going to get to an A very soon and graduate, and that will help as well. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to put back that bed that I carried over in her household inventory. Probably won't leave that bed in this house. And obviously I brought Blarfy with me and the plants, so I'll put them out. Again, Blarfy and the plants will come with me to the next couple of houses that I go to. And to be honest, probably so will the bed. I'll probably replace the bed with a slightly lower quality one. It'll probably be better than the one in the previous house, but probably not as good as the one that she's currently using. I'm just keeping that there to keep her needs high, keep her happiness high, so I'm not struggling too much with that. Just moving Blarfy fully into that corner. I just realised he wasn't perfectly in the corner, so yeah, as you can see there, it looks the same as before, it's just that the outside is a different colour. The path at the front there as well, I did that a little bit differently. On the other one, I did that style of paving on the ground where it looks like it's slabs that are kind of overgrown by the grass. There's just patchy slabs through the grass. So for this house, I just did solid paving, so it looks like this one's a little bit nicer, like they've maybe maintained the path at the front of the house there a little bit. And I'm just going to try and do little hints like that and do more work on the landscaping as I go through the neighbourhood, with the idea being that the first couple of houses won't really have very much. It's supposed to give the impression that they're maybe houses that were a little bit run down and maybe weren't very well maintained, they maybe didn't have very modern kitchens or very modern decoration inside them, but as we go through it, they're going to start to look nicer and nicer, and we'll start having more things on the walls and more plants and more decorations like that. So I am going to replace the kitchen. Madeleine wasn't too bothered about the quality of the kitchen that we had before because she's a freegan, but I am going to upgrade to slightly better fridge, oven and sink in there. So it'll be the sink that's in the bathroom, which is actually a kitchen sink that's in there. And I'm going with that sort of fake Smeg fridge freezer and matching oven, which is from the Cottage Living expansion pack. I do really like the kitchens that they do because they're quite colourful. Tend to usually go for them. There's only really a couple of the kitchen counters that I really like that I go for, but I don't have all of the kits. I've only got about half of the kits, and I don't, again, have the latest expansion pack, so I might find something else that I like. As I get more kits and the new expansion pack, I might change my mind about what my favourite things are. But at the moment, for a basic kitchen, this is usually my go-to. So I usually always go for the white worktops because it's easy to see when they're clean and when they're dirty. So I thought for a change that I would go for the wooden worktops, but I've just noticed that when you go to the sink that goes with this kitchen, the only yellow one that you can pick has a white countertop. There is no option for a yellow one with a brown countertop, which you get this sometimes with some of these packs, that sometimes there'll be a sink or the kitchen island countertops with the overhanging top that you can put a stool behind. Sometimes they don't match the basic counters for the rest of the kitchen, or you can only get, there's a more limited colour palette on those, and I don't know why they do that. Or sometimes the top counters, the ones that go like above the cupboards that are wall mounted, sometimes they don't match the base units, or you only get a couple of options there, whereas you get a lot more options for just the standard base units. It's really annoying when things like that happen. And I can already tell that I don't really 100% like how that looks. That was following the format of the kitchen from before, having overlapping bits that the stools could go under, but I had three counter islands and a sink on top, whereas that's a separate sink unit, and of course it's not the same width, so there's no way for me to put that without there being that little indent, and I can already tell that's probably going to annoy me, so I may eventually ultimately replace that anyway, and if I did that I could then go back to having the brown countertops, so that might be a change that I make down the road. I'm going to leave it as it is just now and see how much it annoys me and then decide from there what I'm going to do with it. And I've still got a bit of money left, so I'm just going to make a few more little changes and I'll just put them on, I'll just speed them up a bit and just show you exactly what it is that I do. Save you sitting through all of this with me while I fuss about what wallpaper I'm going to use. And as I finish, my favourite person in the game is calling me. I don't know if I just have bad luck with Bess Sterling. All the times I've invested money in her, I've never got it back. And there was one game where I think I gave her probably 40,000 simoleons, and I eventually said to her, no, just give me my money back, I'm not giving you any more, I'm not waiting any longer, and I think she only gave me like 7,500 simoleons back. But I keep hearing other people on YouTube saying that, people on various forums saying that they've played with Bess and they've invested money in Bess and they've given her like 6,000 to 8,000 simoleons. She gives them 20,000 simoleons back, but that's never been my experience with her, so I don't give her anything at all now. It is Friday, it is snowing, and I have just asked Madeleine to work hard because she is so close to getting an A grade, and it looks like it's paying off. Yes, it's worked. Okay, grades are up. So that's Madeleine at an A grade on Friday. So I can't see me getting the phone call today to give me the chance to graduate, but that's fine. And what I am going to remember to do today, because I forget if I don't do it on the Friday, is vote on the neighbourhood action plans before I get stuck with another one that I don't want. And that's Nion coming over. I didn't invite him, he just seems to be turning up at the house every day. And it's good to see that green gardening's on there. Obviously that's one that I definitely want, so I'm giving that all my votes. That will definitely help us out if we get that one. And yeah, I'm not going to tell Nion that he's my favourite or compliment his appearance, but I will just go and have a chat with him to get my social up. Nion is dazed yet again. Every single time he comes over, he's dazed. I don't know what he's doing or what his parents are doing to him, that he's just always dazed. I would think that was maybe something specific to his character, but I have had that with a lot of other characters that I'm not playing with in the game. When they come to visit me, they're dazed. I used to get it a lot with Rory Oaklaw when I played with Lou Howell. She would come over to visit and she would just, every single time, she'd be dazed. Very occasionally she'd be angry, but almost every single time she was dazed. Nion's just changed clothes and left the house while we're dancing, so I think he's away to do that jog for emotional control. Oh no, he's not, he's just going to look at the snow, probably because it's that first snow of the season thing. But as you can see from his face there, he's still dazed, still very dazed. And with that thought, I think we'll end the episode here for this week, and next week hopefully we'll get through the weekend and Madeleine should get that call, we'll get her graduated, and I will do the random number generator to find out which course she will be doing at university. Thanks again for watching.